Howdy there, folks. Welcome. Monday evening repairs. Right now I'm just putting a A1466 trackpad back in. Just had to use it for some confirmation diagnosis with another machine. It'll teach me for not having a trackpad just free and floating around, but it's not really the sort of thing you keep free and floating around. You tend to just have your known working chassis and you work from that. You're crazy, Mark, fix it. Hey, Miles, John. Bunch of important people here already. Hey, Lexi. It's been a while since I've seen you around, Lexi. You've been busy with your own stuff. I mean, I've seen you commenting on other things, but I don't think I caught you in stream recently. Sorry if you have been here. Hey, Teresa. Alright. Looks like everybody's here for their... Well, for Australians and New Zealanders, it's like, finally, workday is mostly over. I can kick back and do a bit less. Alright, so this is my 1989 chassis, that one there. I get to put that back into the stack. And what have I got to do? Now I've got to put the faulty trackpad back into the original. Hey, Jim. So this here is a faulty trackpad. This machine came in because they had power issues. It just wasn't coming up properly, and it was really strange because I was getting 300 milliamp, 20 volts, and needs to say, after a bunch of running around, it turns out, this trackpad has a very nicely burned out chip. You can see the trash on my tips there. See this? Crispy fried. Hey there, Peter Young. Shame no one makes extension cables for new accessories like we used to be able to get for the older MagSafe 2 boards. What do you mean by that, Miles? No one makes extension cables for the new accessories. I'm actually confused. Nothing unusual there, I guess. And then Mr. Zimmy. Sivlu. Okay, Alexi, you've been busy. Sleep by okay, that makes plenty of sense then. No harm in being a responsible person and actually getting sleep when you need to. Something I should do. Tell you what, something weird about this particular case is that they've given us plenty of clearance to put the trackpad cable through. With a lot of them, they've got this teeny tiny little slot that's near impossible to get things installed through. Oh, right. I see what you mean, Miles. Yep, okay, I get you. Okay, whoops, we've already got a mistake here. This is one thing I hate about the trackpads, and I don't know why it is with the MacBook ones, but they have these very thin sort of isolation washers, and they're on all the screw posts, and for whatever reason they are extremely quick or easy to just come off. It's like they've got magical powers that lifts them up over the post and flings them somewhere randomly on your desk. There, Christian Iverson. So you were talking about Qt objects and all sorts of stuff that I had no understanding whatsoever about in Twitter. Or is that Zitter? Or is that Shitter? I'll have to remember not to connect this trackpad. I'm just going to send it back to the place that sent it to me. Let them deal with it. What's scary is I think they replaced the entire top deck, but they didn't replace the trackpad. Zwitter. Yeah, I don't know how it got into the what do you call it? Into the restore state. It was in a restore state. I'm somewhat imagining that the person got frustrated and was trying to work out what was going on, and they forcibly put it into that mode. Fortunately, they were quite lucky because it didn't result when I managed to revive it. Everything was there, you know, all their data was there, so I was lucky. Quite often when this sort of thing happens, people will lose their data because they fiddle around a little bit too much and it messes up the tables or something like that for the drive, and needs to say data gets lost. Hey Godfrey Allen. Okay, am I going to be able to do this, or am I... Yeah, I'm going to be able to do this. Don't do that at home, kids. Conducted under professional controlled situation environment here. The Joseph... If you are going to cheat and jam these shrouds in without taking the board out, do make sure they actually sit in to the various slots that they're meant to be. You get a lot of people that just jam in and it folds over into the airflow and blocks the airflow, and it's like, well, that's really useful. Not only did you... Yeah, you just made things worse. Do I get sick of MacBooks? Not really. I have enough things going on outside of the MacBook realm that it keeps me entertained. If this was all like say if all you did was 1466s and you had to do 10 or 20 a day, then yeah, you're definitely going to get sick of it. But for me, I sort of have a... What's going on there? Oh yeah, wrong one. For me, I'll deal with iPhones, PCs, laptops, just tablets, things like that. There's a fairly broad range. And then, of course, there's the programming side of my work as well. So I don't really get a chance to get too bored of things. Hey there, Pedro. Welcome back. Question, you're tinkering for amusement. Well, I gotta say, Luxa, when you started talking about transferring of objects across whatever, I just sort of started glazing over and having no idea what you were talking about. I mean, I know objects and I know methods. Yeah, that's not a problem, but whatever you were describing, I am not at all versed with. If people wonder why I charge at least $50 for a job, even if I can't fix anything, it's because the amount of time it takes to do these and not botch it up. This was an amusing one, the screen connector here. It was under the retainer plate, but it was pushed forward by about 5 millimeters. And it was like, well, no wonder you're not getting any screen display. It's not even connected. So how do you do that? Some people really just are not of the right mindset or of the right sort of dexterity to do this sort of work. Just as much as there's plenty of work that I can't do because physical strength or dexterity or whatever. But you can tell when someone, like, you've had a butcher at the computer or something like that, and you're like, oh, crikey. Hey there, Toby. Hello. Your local Apple shop is like that? Yeah. So like, they've butchered out all the heads on the screws. They're sort of treating them like Phillips screws, where you just keep torquing down until the torquing action drives the head of the driver out, like a Phillips. But these are Torx, which is kind of funny given that their name is all about torque. Anyway, yeah, and as a consequence, they're all chewed out, so you can't actually get the screws down to how you would normally get them without them sadly spiraling out. Not to mention it starts chewing away the very tips of these as well. What else we got? Hey, Mr. Blood. But yeah, these days, like I said, it's a minimum $50 to pull the machine apart, put it back together, and then usually a $25 fee on top of that for the postage. So it works out about $75. But as a fair comparison, if you take this to Apple and you ask them to have a look at it, that's a $99 fee. That's just for a diagnosis. So we get what I'm going to do about this. See, if I plug it in, I'm worried that they're going to try and power it up. So what I might do is tape under the battery connector. I suppose I can leave it above it. Well, the battery connector has to be left taped anyway. Yeah, you're crazy. It's just... postage is ridiculous. Going up and we're getting less for it. Across all fronts. Like I used to be able to get a package from Melbourne for, I don't know, $14 overnight. No problem. Now, you pay $14 and you're lucky if you get it in a week. Okay, I'm just leaving that on top. And I'm also taping the battery connector. Christos, Yamara. Welcome back. Where have you been? Did you go walkabout, get lost? Yeah, B-Blood, the problem is, yeah, people, it's funny, if they feel like you're offering a more personal type service, like, visit the house or whatever, or they can talk to you directly, then when you charge them 50, they sort of are like, whoa, come on, it was just a diagnosis. But you walk into a doctor's office and that's, what is that, $70 straight up. I mean, you do get a bit back on Medibank or Medicare or whatever. You go to a lawyer, geez, that's a couple of hundred straight up. Sam Jordan. Oh, Jose. Okay, what's going on here? So yeah, the problem seems to come down to the more personal a service you offer in terms of you try to be nice to people, talk to them directly, a friendly sort of discussion. That friendliness tends to lead to a difficulty in accepting payment. Oh, you're up in Darwin. Oh, neat. At least it's not too hot up there yet. And at least, well, you haven't had any real rain, so you're not going to get cut off at Alligator River. $32. Yeah, that's... We weren't too far behind. I think we were 30 here. That's the other thing, yeah, people want discounts, and it's like, why? It's like you go to Woolworths or Coles or your supermarket. You say, you know what, I don't feel like paying this today. Can I get a discount? I've already spent a fair bit of money on groceries at another store. I don't have a lot left. So, can I have a discount? I mean, obviously I understand if you don't ask, you won't ever receive. So I get that side of it. But the trouble is it sort of has morphed away from being a possibility to more of a somewhat expectation. And then, of course, they get offended. Mates rates. Mates rates really should be 50% more, at least. We've all seen that garage poster where if you touch it, it's 25% more. If you help, it's 100% more, that sort of thing. Alright, that one is clocked off. I'll just have to write on that. Even though it's a sticky note, it doesn't really stick. So we make sure of it. Oh, crikey, mate. No, come back here. Someone's taken my green pen. Oh, there it is. Fantastic. That's one off. Let's see, what do we got next? We have an A2338. No, that one locks up when trying to do an install, so that's not... somehow I forgot 2 screws. Anyone know how that happened or where that happened? Damn it. Now I've got to open that one up again. I've got 2 screws in here. This is why I like this system, because I can't return the container to the stack if it's got stuff in it. So I've left off 2 screws somewhere. That's not good. Time to undo it again. I see the comedians are at it. I'm just trying to think where they would have gone, given that it... yeah, I'm just a bit perplexed. Of course, the fun thing is when you actually forgot to clear out the trays before you put it back for a previous job, and now it's messing with the current job. You guys are good? Good, 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 good. Yeah, I'm thinking this is... Yeah, everything's in there. At least I think so. They look chewed out. They look like these sort of thin screws on these sections here, little T5s. They're not the long ones that go into here. And we've applied those ones. Crud. This is not a situation I like. To the best of my knowledge, everything has been reinstalled. What is perplexing is that they're up in this top corner here. That is not a corner that gets used for anything on this model. So I'm going to guess that they are actually surplus from a prior job that I didn't clean out. Yeah, from the fan shrouds. No, I wish they were, but no. In this case, they're just these, like I said, they're for holding the USB-C brackets or something like that. They're very short T5s. Oh well. Oh, now I forgot to put that back. Great. What is this? It's like a slapstick comedy now. Blimey. I hope they do replace both the trackpad and the trackpad cable. I have written so on the sticker. So if they don't, that's not on me. The main reason being is that there's a reasonably good probability that the flex has been damaged as well. Or the flex may actually be the cause of the damage. And given that it's probably, what, a $12 part, $10 part, it's just not worth risking it. You may as well just replace it. Because they've already replaced the entire top deck on this. Now you can tell it's a new unit because they've got the protective sticker on the edge of the USB-C ports. We just put that into the surplus section. Okay. That job is finalized so far as we can tell, other than just needing to be paid. Let's go to a different one altogether. Okay, I'm going to need some protective covers on this one, because there's personal information. So 1466, amazingly. Don't see this around much anymore. Hey, Keith McDermott. Okay. Beep. Peter from Florida, good morning. Alright. Okay, bottom of logic board has damage, not charging. Bottom of the logic board. So we're probably going to guess either SMC or ISL has been hit. Let us hope that it's not particularly bad liquid damage. That screw is in the wrong place, I think. No, it just feels like it's one of the A1502 screws, so it doesn't matter. They're moderately interchangeable. So things like the A1502 and the 1398, they have very shallow screws that sit here. Hey Mr. Paul Howell, welcome. Good to see you for another day. Actually, maybe I'm just deluded here. I still feel very short. Da, 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 da. Okay, 802, so 820-00165, you can tell straight away because of the very compact J tag, in quotes. Okay, when they say there's damage on the bottom of the board, maybe they're actually thinking on the bottom side. Wow, this battery has seen better days. Let's disconnect the battery. Let's get their data out of here. Open 831. Always important to mark those batteries, Always important to mark those drives with some sort of unique identifier so that you do not end up with the horrible situation later of going, whose drive is this? Particularly if you've already got a few dozen of those drives floating around. Hey there, Arilla. This machine has a funny smell to it. Not a bad smell, just a sort of like a funny sweet smell. And no, it is not the smell of the electrolyte out of the battery pack. That's a smell I know very well. Yeah, I'm just going to take this out. If they say there's damage on the bottom, I believe them. So I'm just going to take this straight out. Nice to see that these people don't bust up the Wi-Fi section. And I would expect them not to, given that of who these people are. Let's just say they're a business that you would not expect to be sending these machines to me. Hey there, One Way. Good that you made it. This is 1.88 gigahertz. Yeah, 8 gigahertz. Wouldn't that be something? 1.8 gigahertz, 8 gigabyte. There's no damage on the bottom, but I gotta admit, oh, yay, yep, I can see it. Looks like a burn up of a trace or something. Hush now, Mal's. You be quiet now. How's my De Niro mark healing? Oh, yeah, right. It's pretty good. There, here we go. You can have a look. So, it's pretty good going for 10 days. It just looks like I've got a sun blemish, and that's about it. Oof, yeah. Okay, this is a really bizarre kind of fault there. So there was something there. Just the nature of that corrosion and what it's done is really weird. Okay, so that's copper. Yeah, the corrosion's eaten away. By the way, see, these are genuine X-Acto blades. You can tell because it's got the X, which makes it cool. And they're much nicer blades. Yes, okay, so there was something there. We'll have to have a look and see what was there. Careful to not scratch away everything. So, okay, we've got one here with an IMC failure. Let's have a look. Okay, so it's just a cap there. Interesting. The question is, what is the point and purpose of that cap? If it's something like a charge pump for the gate drive, then it's going to be very important. Yeah, B blood. It's certainly not that kind of infection. It was a biopsy extraction. Hilariously, of course, the results came back inconclusive. They're like, well, there's inflammation there, and it could be anything from lupus to goodness knows what. And I'm like, great, great. I'm going to sleep so much better now that we have no idea what we're dealing with. And they said, but it wasn't cancer. And I was like, oh, that's nice. Which is a good thing. But the unknown is also, in its own way, scary. Oh, the Apple board. Fair enough. And what do we got here? This does look charge pumpy. Or is it? What are you doing, bro? Charge of V neg, charge of V compensation. Okay, so yeah, it's a negative rail generator, I'm guessing. So it is one of those sort of capacitors that is actually essential. It is indeed, Alexi, it is indeed. Like I said, yeah, we got to at least I think very early. It's just that we don't know what it is. And then of course, naturally I go and I thought, all right, well, I better go check what the symptoms or the indications for lupus are. That was a dumb idea. Anyway, we don't know. It's probably just the fact that a combination of many factors, and I don't really get any sleep at all. Constant stress. The usual modern day ailment. First world living issues. Waking up constantly at night. My God, how's... Oh, hey babe.
Kids have a snake.
Who's got a snake?
Just out the front, near the front door. It's on the fence.
Outside of this.
It's on the fence.
It's a It was a moon snake. It was a real shame. Yeah, the plastic, the
Yeah.
venom is slightly.
It's just trying to get away.
Yeah, that was the trouble with maybe I should lift those sheets up so gap so snake. At the same time though, it means it can get in. Yeah. Alright, I'm back. Unfortunately, the snake is not going to make it. It was what's commonly known as either a moon snake or a orange nape snake as opposed to a red nape snake. They're slightly venomous, but nothing severe. They're very placid creatures, but unfortunately, when they get into the pen, the cat pen, they're easy target. So yeah, I just don't like it. I don't like it that they get caught like that, and they usually get messed up before we can find them. It definitely, it sits heavy on me, on my heart, because you do your best to keep them away from each other for the safety of the cats too, because you don't know when something more dangerous is going to be around. Anyway, yeah, so that's kind of like taken the wind out of my happiness. I know it seems strange to be like talking about a snake with a heavy heart, but they don't cause any troubles. They do their part. And like I said, we do our best to keep them separate from each other, as in the cats away from the wildlife. And unfortunately, the wildlife sometimes squeezes through. It's pretty hard to keep these things out because they're only around about 1 centimetre square in terms of cross section. The cats are fine. So during the day, it's the moon snakes. During the night, it's typically the moon snakes. During the day, it's the yellow-faced whip snakes. The yellow-faced whip snakes, they will make the cats feel a bit blah, make them puff up a bit. The moon snakes, they don't even try and attack the cats. Yeah, really, I wish that was the case, but I think what it is the shrubbery and the walls and all that sort of stuff. It's a happening place, and the snakes. Okay, we've got a problem here. That little stub is probably not going to be enough. The snakes can sense that there'll be things like skinks and geckos around. So they'll be coming in looking for a meal. Yeah, Trady, we actually get a fair number of dogs chasing roos around here. We have a couple of families of roos in the paddock next to us. We say hello to them every day when we go for a walk. But yeah, every now and then you'll get dogs that have done a bit of a runner, or the people just haven't bothered to lock them up, and they start chasing the wallabies and things like that. And that's a bit of a problem too. I think a lot of people don't realise just how much wildlife dogs will go after as well, given the opportunity. It's instinct. Yeah, the upper pad is a test pad in this case. I'm not going to be attaching anything to it. It's going to be between this pad here and this pad. But I feel like I need to buff up the bottom one a little bit. Because it is not going to have enough there for the capacitor to sit on. Easy to blame the cats. Oh, definitely. I mean, look, there's no denying cats are notoriously bad for that. But it is interesting how people can forget that, you know what, dogs actually do it too. Not that it justifies one or the other. It's just a case of, these are animals doing animal things. Well, funnily enough, Arilla, the situation tonight occurred because I installed... sorry, I'm about to just tear that pad out of its... I installed Hardiflex or Fibro, whatever you want to call it, in order to try and keep things out. And because of that, that snake was not actually able to escape because it was on the wrong side of it. No danger. No, we don't have danger chickens. We've just got bin chickens here, which Alita loves bin chickens. There is something very nice about ibises. They're maligned. Yeah, people don't like them because they look weird or they look a bit ugly or something like that, but they're actually quite nice creatures. Yeah, I'm going to have to hot air that down onto that pad, that little stump. Even if you keep cats purely in your house, around here, snakes will slip underneath the doors or through the windows or any cracks anywhere. Obviously, it reduces the incidence greatly, but making an actual proof place, that's pretty hard. Okay, that's really ugly, but basically that... Oh, great, 10 o'clock here. Give me a snooze on that because I'm in the middle of a job. Under normal circumstances, a cap like this wouldn't ever cause this, a loss of power or anything like that if it died or got knocked off or anything like that. But like I said, I'm fairly sure this is some kind of like negative rail generator or boost rail generator for the gate drives. And if you don't have that, then yeah, you're not going to have any luck with generating your voltages. Yeah, so I'm hoping the big clunky chunk of solder crap that I put down will give us what we need. It's not the fix we wanted, but it is the fix we have. Yeah, I have a feeling that probably is going to fix it. Wow. I'm even getting to the point now where I don't do enough of these 1466s and I forgot which way the orientation was. That's pretty shameful. Like I said, it's not a pretty fix, and yeah, that is pretty chunky. They have damaged the living daylights out of that USB port as well. Wouldn't be surprised if it's smashed off the board. Whoop, no, that's not going to work. USB-C, no thanks. We need our other cable. We need our combination MagSafe 1, MagSafe 2 cable. Okay. Things are much easier now that I've converted everything over to be the USB-C power. Because I can do everything through the one app on screen. Okay, so here we go. Green light. We're not getting a red light. Okay. So we've got more damage to deal with. What have we got in terms of voltages? 40 milliamps, 30, it's very little. Could it be the ISL is kaput? 344, so we're doing okay on the SMC side of it. 8.6, we're actually generating our voltage. 8.6, so why are you not turning on then? Please let us have PM sleep S4L. Should have. Yeah, we don't have PM sleep S4L. Well, life just got sucky. Is it a bad... Oh, okay, no, look at that. That was a random thing. And I flipped over and... Well, that will about do it. Yeah, that chip's pretty important. That was a freakishly lucky flip over. U7400, which is our TPS 51916, which is our CPU. Oh no, that's our RAM rails. Oh, okay, whoops. Oh yeah, this is CPU. This is TPS 5198. Okay, so what is your actual purpose, Mr. Resistor? Ah, great, you're one of these ones where you're pretending to be a resistor. On the board view, you're listed as a cap, but you're not. Are you? Idiot. Wrong one. There we go. You're a 0 ohm. And you're for the boost. Wow, how is that? That's impressive. Impressive for the fact that our other boost type cap or rail cap got knocked off, and now our direct line 4 boost has been knocked off. Okay, might help you go into continuity mode, Mr. Daniels. Well, we do have continuity there. It looks pretty messed up though. Alright, listen, there's gonna be other things on this board now. Let's have a look at this. Yeah, what the? Who does this to flippin' boards? Really? Come on. That is completely smashed. How? How do people do this? Sorry, now I'm starting to whine. Slap myself out of that whiny phase. There's a bit of junk up there, but I think it's just junk. Well, really, actually, you know, that's not a bad thing. It's just always assume they are venomous, but the best thing is to give them room. Give them room and they'll get the hell out of there if they can. Usually, most problems occur when you get between you, the snake, and where it wants to go. And then it starts getting defensive, and then that's when people start remembering that it's attacking them. But really, it's just like, out of my way, out of my way, out of my way, out of my way. And if they feel like they've got no other choice, then that's when they go into that more aggressive behavior. As a general rule. I can see where the liquid damage came in. Alright, I'll go deal with micro, come back, we'll sort this out. That USB connector is going to be a colossal PITA. Alright, settle. Alright, I gotta put a new set of gloves on. Hi, Catherine. Tom Morgan. Who else did I miss arriving while I was gone? Sorry, John, can't do that for you. We like to do the best we can, but unfortunately that request is beyond our capabilities. Let's see. Well, even though that's supposedly not damaged, I'm still going to replace it. Sometimes weird things can be happening. I mean, it does look like what you'd consider to be a significant fault. According to the multimeter, it says, no, we're all good. We look ugly, but we're all good. For me, Miles, I put up the gloves because the outcome of not wearing gloves means I get very sticky fingers with all sorts of stuff, and it's difficult to wash it off, and of course I worry about that permeating into my body. I already don't take a good enough level of care of my body. Sort of person that would make Lewis Rossman cry. It is something you get used to, though, I will tell you that much. And it gets to the point where you will actually start feeling very odd if you don't wear the gloves. Well, you know, that's severely oxidized there, so I'm kind of intrigued that the multimeter thought there was a good connection there, because if you ask me, I'd say that was a load of crap. That was severely oxidized. Come on, beep. Because we still don't have PM Sleep S4L. I guess I'm just looking for the obvious first. I really probably should do the R8111 test. Let's see if we have an IMC failure, which wouldn't be entirely unusual given that we've had some regulator failures, you know, issues with the regulators here. Phil's scraping. Mine's more delicate. Funnily enough, part of the problem is that it's because I'm using a very new blade, and so instead of being able to apply a broad stroke, it is a very fine scratch instead. Hey Jason, I did see you sent a message just before, just haven't had a chance to look at it. If we don't get it powering up this time, I'm going to pull R8111 and see what happens. SMC is definitely picking it up. Alright. We're going to pull our A111, which funnily enough is right next to where we were. It's this little chappy over here. Oh, what I got up to on the weekend. Haha. Not a lot. Yeah, so that's our A111. And what it does is it essentially disconnects the IMC, which is a common cause for PM sleep S4L to stop coming up. This mark here on this capacitor worries me. It's gone now, but there's a bit of smudginess there, along there. We're right underneath the PCH CPU area, so it's not a good place to have random bits of corrosion like this. It's just bad news to have things like that happening around here. A bit of junk there. Hey, Ratmole. Anyway, let's see if we get supply now and whether it's all just going to be a case of, well, that was a good waste of 10 minutes. Or however long it's been. Alright, so this is good news. It's not doing anything better or different, which means it's most likely not the IMC at fault. So that's a good news thing. But it does mean we have a confusing situation. I think what we should do is probably... I think we should try and take that USB port off. I don't think it's causing the problem, but you never know. Could be some smashed up metal touching things it's not supposed to touch. Hey Defon, good to see you. A bit late over there on your side of the planet. You guys have been in the dark a bit longer than us. Yeah, Jason, 1466 boards. That's the only reason I'm doing this one is because it is a 1.88 2017 era type. So they are still a good board, but overall, yeah, it's like, perhaps not the most ideal things to fix. Is there corrosion down there? Is there more corrosion down on that SMC? Are we doing another SMC? Oh god. Out, hot. Yeah, no, that's just fluorescent green threads, not corrosion. Lucky me. Of course it would have been awfully nice in the respect of the fact that it would have been, well, there's our problem. It could still be the ISL at fault actually. It may not be signaling out correctly. Yeah, it may not be sending out the, yep, all is good, proceed. Mind you, we are getting 12.6, so yeah, it's a little bit perplexing. The usual culprits are all looking pretty good. As I said, we're getting 12.6 on PP bus, which is not getting PM sleep S4L though. I might have to bring up the diagnostic guide. There's a good chunk of corrosion in there, I think. Oh man. You know, if I break this off, they're gonna go, oh wow, check that out. Check out that burning effect. I hate doing these because you always melt this and this, and then you fix them up, and then you remelt them. It's not a nice job. Hey Pedro. Honestly, I think it's going to be easier for me to excise this using physical means. Yeah, Defcom Oppo phone. Well, at least you can get parts, I suppose. I guess that's an upside. Or at least it seems you're implying that you can. We need to get this shield off. Need to get those shields down. Alright, let's see, what are we going to go? We'll go 390, 30% air. Actually, you know what, 380 I feel we'll start with that. And we're just going to use a gravity drop. You can see it's already melting that plastic. I might have to get more heat, less air. Yeah, I know it's out of focus. Tell me something I don't know. Nasty, nasty. Who says I'm staying calm, Trudy? Yeah, we're gonna do the old lead pickle. And this time we use an alternative drop. We use a weighted grip-on. And let's see. Might do the trick. Might work, might not. Need a little bit more air on this. Sure, what's holding on to that dodgy bastard? Yeah, that is a really painful to work with design. It's fine when you're actually building them, not so good when you've got to rework it. Anyway, since that's disconnected, we can now... Oh, I did get that a little bit... Ah, shame. We can now proceed with the rest of the board again and see if we have any progress. Still nothing. Alright. So it wasn't the USB port, but that had to come off anyway. So now we're going to have to go into diagnosis mode. So bring down that. Solutions. Missing PMC S4L. And, well, yep. This is how it goes. Bring up the quad display. There we go. Christopher, I did see you actually make mention of that earlier on a previous... Okay, voltage mode. Got RTC, so that's one positive thing. Reset L, which is just up here. Yep. Don't think that exists. Yeah, intervermin. Third one. Usually these ones are all present. Yep. test point just down there. Yep. Okay, to get the clock. What'd you do that for, Paul? You dimwit. Okay, to get the clock, we do a bit of stabby here. I've also got a frequency. Good job. Good job. Okay, stabby. Yeah, we've got 32 kilohertz. (3v3S5). Wow. It's always fun when you end up with so many possible places to pick off the value that you can't choose where you want to pick it off. Yep, got that. Power good. Where are you? Under two big chunkies there. Power good is good. Sus line. Sus is good. That low is an unusual one. Where are you? Okay, we don't have PM bat low. Interesting. Okay, so it's going into the CPU. Yeah, throw those ones out, Jason. You already know that anyway. Okay, interesting. Bat low is being pulled up by a 10K to 3v3S5, and we already know that that exists. So basically, if we look at R1410, on one side we should see 3v3, on the other side we should see very little. It's quite awkward trying to work out which one's which in this sort of high density area. Hey Serge. It's pretty sure it's this one. So yeah, we've got 3v3 there. And we don't there. So something on that side, which is scary in its own right, is pulling it down. Now the reason why it's scary is because that goes into the CPU. U5000. Okay, could be the SMC pulling it down. It's pretty much our only choice, because at this point we have UO500 is the CPU, so we have it going into the CPU, we have it being pulled up, but it's not. I mean, it is being pulled up over here, but on this side it's 0. We have an isolation here. We will check this, but there isn't really a path to ground in there. And then we have it coming down to the SMC. So if I had to put money on something, I would probably say pulling the SMC will probably make that rail rise. Let's see, which pin is it on the SMC? buried right there in the middle. Fantastic. Just what we want. Okay. Pernov makes a good point about... I haven't actually had that show up in a long time, Pernov, where, you know, the classic 165 that doesn't want to run on anything but a genuine. But we'll try that right now. It's a good thing you reminded me of that, because we could be chasing something for nothing. Hey, Mr. Stamps. And that's it. Yep. We've still got to deal with the USB. It's interesting that, yeah, I haven't actually had a 165 do this in a very long time. Hey, MacBook Medic. Yeah. Yeah, it's alive. It's blinking. Yeah, so I don't know what it is about the 165 that originally when they first came out, or when they were first around, all the time this would be a trap and it would catch us all the time. And then it stopped doing that. And now it seems it's come back. Interesting. Alright, well, we've still got to sort out the USB connector. That's going to be a colossal pain in the ass. Look at all these pins we've got to clear out. Yucky, yucky, yuck. Ow, crikey, I ripped my flippin' toe off. On the upside, yeah, how am I going to do this? Oh boy. Well, we can try some experiments here. We've got plenty of these to practice with. I'm contemplating the idea of actually putting it on a heat pad and then hot airing it from over here, and we will use just a USB something like this as our lift. I don't believe in low melt. I have taken a few of these out before, and it's a long, annoying process, but it is doable. New Zealand's got the right idea. Butane torch, they'll do the trick beautifully. Kind of like when they used to try, what do you call it, replacing iPhone 6 Plus Touch chips with a Wagner hot air gun. That was always amusing to see. Oh, it's the adapter. Anyway, well, that's solved regardless, thankfully. Thanks for the reminder. Just goes to show, these sort of things can slip your mind, particularly if you haven't run into the issue before. As in, you know, for quite some, well, it would have been probably 2 years since I last had one that behaved that way. I'm going to try the... if I could only remember where I put it. I was going to say, I do have a proper MagSafe 2 USB-C cable adapter, but I don't know where I've put it. Oh. I put it away because I thought, well, I got the MagSafe 1 and MagSafe 2 adapter, so it's going to get me out of strife. But not in this case. I don't know where I'll put it. So I'm just going to get back to changing these USB-C port. We'll worry about that other thing later. Defcom, you are correct. It will make it a little bit harder, sort of. It depends on how quickly you're trying to cook it up. Sad thing is here, I'm going to sacrifice a hell of a lot. So I mean, that's wobbly as it is, but the other one was genuinely damaged. Kind of need to get myself a holder for the hot air station too. I'll just tell the customers, you need to use genuine. And I don't think that was a problem anyway. I think we solved the problem well before. It's just that I created an artificial problem, well, my own problem, simply due to the fact that I was using the adapter cable. Ow. Jeez, I nearly put a pair of tweezers through my eyeball then. All because I was trying to change the focus for you folk. This is going to be slow. It's going to be slow because I'm using a lower temperature and I'm ferociously watching that plastic. I'm still going to melt it a little bit, I can tell you that right now. And if we stuff it up on this one, we've got about 3 or 4 dozen others to go on. What makes this one take longer is that the shield is actually going through the board. Damn it, man, I've got to raise the focus again. Sorry, just bear with me here. Okay, one part down. Yeah, I think I want to pickle those. It's a game of patience, really. The way you have to think about it is that we're running, I think, 390 at the moment. Now remember, your reflow oven is only going to get to 235, 245. So we're a solid 150 Celsius above that with our hot air. So the game here is that we just have to heat soak the board enough. Like a little bit of flux might help. Create smoke. I can see the pin that's probably causing us the holdout. Damn it. This one's gonna be a dud. So we charred the back ass a little bit, but I think functionally it's fine. I think we can do better. I'm just going to try again on another one. Everybody's like, oh, why? the hilarious thing is when I go to check this connector that we just took off, I can almost guarantee it's probably damaged inside or something, as in it's like the customer got corrosion on it or something like that. Gluten for punishment, yes, well, yeah, that's one way to give yourself punishment, is have lots of gluten. Yeah, that's actually bloody well perfect, that one. Alright, I think that's going to be our... See, it's a little bit tarnished at the back. What's this one like? This one's almost as good. I've got a game plan for this one now, and that is to drive everybody insane. Paul, the reason why I don't do that is because I actually need the solder to help keep the heat there. Like, the solder actually helps it desolder. Okay, so we've got corrosion there, but that's okay. It's not in the spot that matters. So we're going to create a shield just for this. I'll get my finger out of there, that would be good. Shush now, I can see the over-engineered complaints. There we go. It's getting pushed out a little bit for some reason. It's like I'm trying to help you, little USB. Oh, you're pushing you out? Right, it was the neighbor being obnoxious. That was naughty of me, I nipped that. Oh, so we've got another naughty neighbour. Okay, this is a donor board. Huzzah. Excellent. Okay, but we still need to actually get that piece off first, so yeah, we do still have to do that the slower way. I also might nozzle up. Like, I'm running the, what is this, the 6mm, 7mm right now. I'm going to push it up to the 1/2 inch, 12, whatever. Oh, don't press that button, you idiot. Oh, was Defcom suggesting a bigger nozzle before, was he? Were you suggesting that before, Defcom? I mean, yeah. I was getting lazy and hoping for the best, which just didn't happen. Like I said, this is a slow part because basically we're also heat soaking the board, and you know, it contributes to the removal of the connector overall. Okay. Now immediately I'm going to do the wicking, not the wicking. The whatchamacallit timming. What do I call this business? Ah, the pickling. Yeah. Yeah, have some more pickle juice. Okay. And then we insert our DB-DACA into the whatchamacallit. But first we need to actually plug this in, so we've got a full mass. I have my doubts, but we'll see. See, now the downside is I cannot gauge if I am melting anything. These two little chaps don't seem to be interested in. Oh, look at that. It's just got a mild, very light roasting. Perfect otherwise. Oh, bit of corrosion. That's okay, it's only on the plastic. Suck on that, naysayers. Suck on that. Of course, yes, it is a major overkill. Are you not entertained? Def reckons it was the bigger nozzle. Gee whiz. All these people jumping in now, claiming their piece of the fame. Of course, we're not quite finished yet. We still have to clear out all these ports. these pins, and that is in itself a pain. The dirty way is to just drill through. Trust me, it really is the dirty way, but it does work. I just don't recommend it. Do a hot flow. I don't know if the problem with the hot flow is that I don't think I'm going to be able to apply the pressure appropriately. It's an awkward. It's like you want to be able to apply from up here, and it's just not going to sit in properly, I don't think. I'm going to clear this up with some leaded, because this is all lead free still. Drilling the holes is, like I said, a popular option. Heat from underneath. Well, that's fine on things like the PS5 ports or whatever, PS4 ports. That's fine when you don't have a billion other things around it. Okay, there is a piece of metal stuck in there, in one of those. And I'm glad I got a fume extractor. You can just... Yeah, you're a piece of metal. You really do feel like a piece of metal in there. Yep. Yeah, the real problem with changing these ports is more their neighbors than the actual ports. Now, that's not solder there, that's definitely a tang or something got broken off. Not rightly sure how that happened, but it did. No, don't let... Sometimes you forget to move the wick as you move the solder, the iron, and that results in a really hilarious situation where the wick gets stuck like a tongue-on frozen flippin' post. By the way, for those watching, in terms of business, no, this is a complete and utter waste of business time. I'm here for the entertainment. Yeah, I need to heat this board up. Yeah, it's definitely I don't know what it is. But it's stuck in there. we need to heat up this board before we do too much more. Get rid of the nasty, nasty, chunky stuff. Hey, creature. Yeah, I did actually see your Iron Man body meter thingy. It's a good job getting data off that thing. But that was your own design though, wasn't it? Yeah, see that's going to be a it's in the ground pin, but it's still a nuisance. In fact, it's like they all broke off or something. Pain in my backside. Oh, hello. We've got a bee blood. What have you done? For the possible purchase of low melt solder or cat food? Definitely cat food. Oh, not your design. That's weird. Okay, I misread what you wrote. I definitely misread what you wrote. Citraflow. Oh, that's his new flux? No, I haven't. He was going to send me some, but he's been pretty busy. And I've still got plenty of my own stuff still here, so yeah, I'll just use up what stock I've got. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to put a 0.5 bit through these, the ground ones. So help me God if I ruin this. I don't know why I say that. Okay. Might have to be 0.6. I think my 0.5s are all snapped. No, I don't want to use a solder sucker. Yeah, we'll just do it on the grounds. Do a bit of a zoom in for you. Main reason why I don't bother with solder sucker is that it's such a infrequent need for me that it's just going to be another piece of equipment that rots on my desk or in my bench, you know, the workshop. I do have solder suckers of various types, obviously not fancy pantsy ones, but for the most part it's just not worth me having it around on the desk. More is better if you have plenty of room. When you don't have enough room, less is better. Because right now, with having too much stuff in here, it clutters up everything else, which means then when I do need to access something, yeah, I basically have to prioritize what equipment I keep on hand here. Maybe I'm gonna hit this with the hot air and wick. Quick, someone get the cutting fluid. Oh, getting a bit of a buckle there. These are meant to be high-speed drill bits, HSS. Definitely not living up to the HS high-speed side of it. I'm intentionally not going all the way through, because that's a nice way to delaminate the circuit board from the other side. This is a wobble bit. Al doesn't want to touch that. Yeah, see, this is the problem. There's definitely something broken off in these. Oh, I know what happened. This, yeah, obviously this has had the broken port, and the broken port, because it was smashed in, it snapped off the metal shields into those holes. Yeah, that's what's left of the metal shield. So yeah, that's going to be a bit of a problem. Yeah, can't do that. See, it was going to start chewing into the circuit board. At least I now know why those bits of metal are in there. I was sitting there going, why are they in there? I don't remember forcibly bending the shield out. I'm not too worried about the plate through, because this is a smaller bit, quite a bit smaller. It's 0.6, so you can go straight through that, no problem. And like I said, these are only the ground ones. So, yeah. And besides, very worst case scenario, customer gets a new board. Like I said, very rare to actually have to do this sort of thing to a board, these boards. And it would be substantially easier if we weren't dealing with two very sensitive neighbors. These neighbors are almost as sensitive as Creature. Oh boy. great, where's my grippies gone? And I know a lot of people are going to be going, yeah, but look how much time it's taken you to do just this one port. You know, wouldn't it be worth it to have that tool on hand? And realistically, no, it's still not. Because like I said, you've got to look at the time involved and the time, how many times you're going to get hit with it. And it just doesn't make sense for me. It might make sense for you, but it doesn't for me. And at the end of the day, if I feel like it's just not worth it for me, then that's my prerogative. I might take you off, you're being annoying. And I can put you back on later. I think that's the other thing a lot of people forget is that your priorities are yours, but they're not someone else's. You got to remember that kind of thing. Anyway, we've gotten rid of the bulk, so hopefully we can now pinch, just suck up the last little bits. We're worried about that connector. Damn it. It's the only trouble with using this teeny tiny wick technique. Is that it doesn't really suck up a lot of solder. You kind of got to do each one individually. God damn it, get off. Wondering what I did then, it was just to pick up some flux. We've punched out some of those pieces of metal already. Damn it, I broke my tip. Let's see if I can flip it around and use the other end. Thought I'd melted that for a second, but it's actually just flux. Yeah, you can see the pieces of metal there, and there, and there. Right, I think... what's this one over here? Oh, don't tell me I missed one. No, I don't think I missed that one. What's going on there? Yeah, that's all good. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. Is that the sunburnt one, or is that the... Oh, that's the two burnt one. Okay, I thought there was an obstruction, but there actually isn't. What it is there's still remnants of solder on there. That's looking pretty damn good. Now we don't have to use hot air anymore. At least I hope not. Yeah, you be quiet now, creature, okay? You be quiet. You're on the back bench. I'll be fixing these up in a tad. You just have to wait and see what I do. Alright, okay. So that's all tacked in now, which is how I wanted it. Now we can drop down to about a nice safe 230. And what we do is, because I don't want to sit there holding the soldering iron over those pads like endlessly, so instead what I do is I just add some mild warm air. 230 is pretty mild. Let it heat up a little bit and then hit it with the iron while I'm hitting it with the hot air. And so it's kind of like preheating or whatever, but it means I don't have to sit there and grind the hell out of the board with my tip. So and it will draw it in much better. You can see it as it draws it in. You can see the solder jump. I think some of these holes have already had their fill. Hello, 1-2. I mean, yeah, preheater could be nice on a board, but usually once you're used to how a board's going to behave and what to expect in terms of what's going to melt versus what not, then you can get away without using a preheater for some things. I mean, yeah, preheater could have made this a bit easier for some things, but we've managed to achieve the result we require without doing so. Obviously this board's going to go through an ultrasonic clean. Careful now, Miles. I do have a preheater and I do use it for some things. I just don't need to use it for this. Most of the time, if I'm using a preheater, I'm definitely not recording for you guys because you're a bunch of peanut gallery people. And I'll probably be doing something important. So the last thing I want is all the jibber jabber. Okay. Port replaced without melting any connectors. Oh, Miles, there's plenty wrong with the peanut gallery. Oh, there's lots wrong with it. Now, how do we test this? We stick it back in the board and we plug something into for USB. Under normal circumstances, a board like this would just be probably thrown in the bin. Replace it with another one. It's quicker, easier, cheaper. Going to the effort of doing a port replacement like that is, like I said, more about entertaining people than it is good business practice for this particular board. Hey, Optimize. Tradie, I don't know, mate. I'll take it into consideration. Maybe I'll be selective. Maybe some people I'll call out. Some people I won't. I think you're right. I think you're good. For now. But in seriousness, if I am doing an important job, like genuinely important, that requires my full focus, then I certainly will not be live streaming it. Fortunately, 1466s are a low risk type job because A, you've got plenty of spare boards, B, the data is not involved, C, they're cheap these days. So it's a good type machine to just have some fun with. Hey there, Jim. Missing out on all the fun. Okay, so this support we replaced, we're gonna try and boot from it. So we've got my classic MacBook tester. Plugs in, that's a good start, right? And let's see, we're going to be using the genuine charger here. Hold down the Option key, we've got a fan spin. You're not going to be able to see any specs because I haven't got this hooked up. There we go, we've got a screen energized, we've got an Apple logo. Someone's using Big Sur. Oh man, the screen's hinges need fixing. Oh, you're doing that crap on me. Creature, you have very little faith in me. I'm hurt. Of course, it hasn't booted yet, Creature, so we don't know. May still have faults. Because it's not booting to my USB stick that I can tell yet. Oh, here we go, finally. I did drill through, I just cleared out most of the lead on them. I didn't like go all the way through, but I wanted to clear out most of the lead. But yeah, I was more than aware of trying not to touch the sides. Hey, Crocodile. No, sorry. I use a 1.2 millimeter chisel tip on one iron, and I use a 0.1 mil conical tip on my micro pencil. Okay, there we go. Oh, we've only got 1% battery, that explains a lot. Oh, well, by the way, the very fact that this has booted means that that port is working. Mr. Norman, question, I want to get a Mac, but I don't want to go down the iMac route. What do you think of the Mac Mini? I actually haven't had a lot of experience with the Mac Mini. I think, you know, they seem to be fine. Personally, I quite like the, I know this isn't what you asked for, but I quite like the, like a 2015 or 2014 iMac 27-inch. I sort of prefer them over the 5K ones, mostly because you can at least open the screens on these ones. Whereas with the 5K ones, when you try to open them up, they have a bad tendency of nicking the ribbon cables driving the LCD panel. But the other option, you can just go and get a MacBook and then plug it in, like if you get a, I don't know, 1706 or something like that, 1707, plug in USB external USB-C expander. I'm just waiting for that battery to come up. It's not looking healthy right now. It reckons it's got 2.5 hours, so that's okay. At least it's showing me that it's trying to charge. I kind of wanted to get a % or two on there before I run Valley on it. Jason, I've never personally actually opened up a 5K one. I've just seen and heard a lot of people, like I actually have people that I know as opposed to people who I pretend to know. The people I know who have opened up those 5K ones and done the dodgy and end up having to replace that 5K screen. Definitely the one thing to avoid on the iMacs, I think, is the Fusion drive. It seems like that's another thing that causes absolute heartache. I like them where it's just the SSD, you can put 8 or 16 gigs into them, and you can split the screen open without too much trouble. But yeah, Mac Minis also seem perfectly good too. I think the tragic thing about the Mac Mini is if you don't get a Apple screen for it, then you kind of miss out on some of the niceness of what the Apples provide the Macs. Oh, I agree, Miles. Those hybrid drives it's kind of like hybrid vehicles. It's like twice the complications just to try and provide a stopgap solution. Okay, this thing's still I'm gonna go see if I can find my proper USB-C cable that doesn't have the adapter on it. Where the hell would I even put that thing? Why do I do this to myself? No, you're the originals. I even put it back in its proper bag too. It's like, there, that's in a safe place now. It's like, that was idiotic. Oh, here we go. Oh, in a safe place, funnily enough. Honestly, I find it funny that when you sort of, there we go, is the cable. When you give up on things, that's usually when you find it. Or you make a statement and the universe decides, you know what, we're going to make you a laughing stock for doing that. It's like when I watch what's his name? Growling Sidewinder, who does can't remember the games, DTS or something like that. Anyway, it's he does flying, combat flying, things like that on simulator, and the number of times he's made some sort of statement of the effect of, oh yeah, I'm in the clear now, or something like that, or I dodged that missile, or all should be good, and then he just instantly dies after that, is hilarious. It's just like the universe waits for you to say something and then hits you. Okay, here we go. Oh, it did not make that. Damn it. Or did it? Nope, it didn't. Wow, these hinges are bad. Oh, it did. It just went into sleep and we're at 1%. Okay, there we go. And now we actually have a charge graph. Oh, where are you? Right there. Charge graph showing that we're putting power in. And like I said, we are at 1%. Well, we were at 1%, we're not now. But that should come up pretty soon. So, yeah, 1.2 amps. It's definitely putting charge into the battery. Let's run the Valley. DCS is the program, Digital Combat Simulator. And he flies all the different jets and prop fighters, whatever he can. And he has setups like merging or beyond visual range fights. It's all very interesting. He's quite a skilled combat fighter. Not that he himself actually has ever flown a plane. I suspect that in terms of all the theory, energy management, watching what your opponent does, all that sort of stuff, he does a very good job. Okay, it is running like complete crap at the moment. Not even 20 frames per second, but like I suspect that's due to the battery being at near zero for the moment. And so we're not going to see the CPU or the CPU heat up very much. Because right now it's throttling, it's just saying, give me a chance to get my battery up. An Air should still give us about 25, 27, but yeah, it's pretty lightweight. And this is a 1.8 gigahertz unit, so I'm not sure which Intel integrated GPU it's going to have in it. So i5 1.8 HD 6000. Okay, so it's not the worst. It just needs some battery power. Oh gee, nearly midnight. Yeah, we definitely spent a bit too much time on this one. And I learned something tonight. Well, I was reminded rather of something, and that was that, the genuine Apple MagSafe 1 to MagSafe 2 adapter, magnetic adapter, causes this quirk with a few of the machines. So I was just constantly using this cable because it's convenient. You got MagSafe 1 and then you got MagSafe 2. But yeah, it slipped my memory that it will cause that quirk on the 165 and a couple of others. Oh well. So we almost removed the SMC for no good reason. Come on. I can admit though, that battery, yeah, shouldn't that be doing 2.5 amps? Oh wait, no. It's still so low that it's probably not ramping up. Yeah, Miles, these sort of things can easily just sort of slip your mind. Like I said, if it's not something that you have encountered in the last 6 months, it's easily something you can overlook. And I guess that's why it's convenient to have original chassis, original power bricks and things like that, so you can go back and verify that. Was this FET Thunderbolt to Mag 2 adapter? What? I might close the lid and see what it does. We've got a percentage pickup yet? Oh man, these hinges are killing me. Yeah, we're still not showing anything. I'm just going to shut that down, see how the charge current changes. It will take a while to calm itself down. I don't want to, Pedro. I don't want to rip the clutch cover off and all that crap. You come and do it. Did you see the recent Kia debacle? A guy in Germany was quoted 70,000 euros to get the fuel cell. Holy damn. It's a fuel cell? Wow. Yeah, I think like I said, I think the hybrid situation is just going to fade away for the most part. So you got twice the parts, or more than twice the parts. It's a hell of a lot more complex. In the end, people are either going to stick with pure combustion or they're going to go with pure BEV. Or, you know, I don't think we're really going to see much in the way of hydrogen as a combustion system for vehicles. The big problem, it's not the engine that's the problem, it's the storage of the hydrogen. It's just such a yeah, you think batteries are problematic enough. Hydrogen is such a pain in the ass to store and transport, and in terms of energy return or effective energy per volume, you're not getting a lot back. Maybe if they can come up with some way with the ammonia cycle to come up with a way of combusting that would make things a lot easier. Yeah, hydrogen fuel cells will use electric. I'm talking about hydrogen combustion. Like you see a lot of people posting articles about, how hydrogen's going to replace fossil fuels and things like that. And it has its place, but it is quite difficult to manage the problems that hydrogen brings, the embrittling and the extremely hot burn and things like that. I'd sooner see that we're going to get a bigger jump with electric, and actually I kind of see us taking a small step backwards first. I dare say we will probably get used to maybe sodium ion batteries with a 25% reduction in range, but because they'll be that much cheaper, it will become more of like the town vehicle, and then people will be happy to have a vehicle that's a town vehicle if the cost is low enough, but the range is still reasonable enough. Like, say if we can still do 250 kilometers, then it's probably going to be an acceptable solution if the cost is fine. I mean, the ultimate would be, of course, the fusion vehicle, Mr. Fusion, but don't see that happening in a hurry. Oh, geez, yeah, B-Blood just mentions it now. But yeah, I think there has to be a shift in the mindset of the greater population, understanding and losing the fear of battery range. Although a lot of that is probably easier for people such as myself who live in a house that has parking space, that I can plug the vehicle into the house and also use the vehicle as a house battery backup too. That's always another upside. And I'm kind of erring towards sodium ion being the greater portion of the market for mid-low range vehicles, and then the high range one's going to have the lithium. Okay, this charge cycle is a little bit concerning to me because we're sitting at 800 and we're not going anywhere with that. Trady, that, yeah, I'm not going to answer that one, I'm sorry. A little bit volatile, that one. The problem with the Leaf was just that, they didn't have a battery management system in it. I mean, it did pretty good considering it didn't have a battery management system. Yes, Crocodile, people do want range, speed, and looks, but it's going to be one of those things of pick any two. Yeah, I have a feeling what's going to happen here with this battery is in about 10 to 15 minutes, it's going to all of a sudden ramp up. because this is what they do. Because the battery is so discharged, it's doing a trickle. Although, yeah, to be honest, 900, 800, 900, that's a pretty hefty trickle. I'm personally going to be happy to get an electric vehicle, a couple of electric vehicles. Okay, we are showing 1%, so we're definitely getting somewhere. But it's doing it very slowly. Now, I don't know whether that's because... now it's 0. Okay, it's showing 1% in the login, but 0 in the system. Let's see. Oh, I do have coconut battery on this one. We'll run that. The funny thing with range anxiety is I actually have more dramas with getting in the car, and like right now with my petrol Ford Falcon BA, and the damned low range beeper going off like dun dun dun. It's like, oh great, I've got to get down to the petrol station, but then it's 12 o'clock at night or something, and you're like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. And the number of times that you do it, you say to yourself, oh, we'll fill this up tomorrow, or we'll go down to the petrol station tomorrow, and you don't. And you end up in a situation where you've got 15 kilometers of range left, and you've got to drop everything and head down to the petrol station, and usually on a Wednesday when the petrol's at its peak price for the week. Alright, this battery sucks. It's got 27% capacity left in it. Yeah. Alright, I don't think we can blame ourselves on this one. 982 cycles. Hey there, Drachev. That's okay. If anyone gives you one, Drachev, just send it my way. I'll be happy to have it. So for my scenario, having an electric vehicle suits me well because I can come home, plug it into the house, charge up my solar panels rather than sending the excess power off to the grid, which you get a crappy rate for anyway. You only get like 9 cents a kilowatt hour. And yeah, it works well for my scenario. It doesn't work for everybody's scenario, but it works well for my scenario. Which thermal cam? Yeah, I actually don't really know at this point. I mean, I use a FLIR 1 Pro, which is a very good cam, and it's got the visual camera as well as the infrared camera. But it's not really designed for interfacing with a PC. I only managed to get it to work with a PC through some serious bodging and programming. Yeah, this battery's got puffy bits, or ex-puffy bits actually. Yeah. I would be more worried about other things burning down my house, Drachev, than my EV. I mean, I get it, some people, that's fine if people want to be, not choose not to park because of that, but I don't have a problem with that. We all have our choice of how much weight we put in certain things. I don't think we're going to have a problem with the grid. I believe most studies indicate that we're probably only going to need about 3 to 5% more grid capacity than what we already have. You got to remember also that we'll be reducing grid consumption as well by utilizing the power better. I mean, the grid has always been growing. I mean, you think back to the 1980s where almost no one had air conditioners. Most of us ran 60-watt bulbs on the ceiling. Maybe in a special room you had a couple of 100-watt bulbs. That was pretty rare, and you usually got your hands smacked if you turned those on or left them on. We barely ran computers. A lot of people still had gas stoves. If you look at over the last 30, 40 years, it's just a natural progression. Like our consumption, I think, what was it? People probably used 5 kilowatt hour a day max back then, and now I'm lucky if I can get it under 50 kilowatt hour for the day. So yeah, the grid just grows. The upside is that realistically, with more people with solar and more decentralization of the grid, we kind of save ourselves in a way, because previously what was happening is that you'd have the power stations, like 3 or 4 power stations, and to deal with peak load you had to over-engineer the network to deliver that peak load, because obviously you have to build the network to suit the maximum load. So we would have a couple of stations and we'd have these colossal engineering feats to get the power out, which would spend 90% of the time underutilized. But as we move to a more decentralized generation style, the maximum power a particular segment of the grid has to handle tends to sort of like even out a bit more. So I think we'll probably see a greater inclination towards this whole, a bit like how the internet is now, everything being a little bit more distributed around. Yeah, this thing is not, I don't think this is going to go very far. This battery is just way too damaged, and it's got broken eyelets all over it, so we're just going to leave it. I'm done for tonight. It's already midnight, so thanks everybody for watching. I appreciate that you stuck around and didn't break your computers, screens or chairs watching me take out these connectors, but it was fun. It was fun, and it was proof that yes, you can do it if you want to, and you don't have to have the fancy equipment. You can do it. You just got to be patient, and you got to know where to protect, where to shield, what the limits are, things like that. But it's a good exercise to try and do it, and it's not a very costly one if you stuff it up. So I'm out of here. You all take care. Thanks for watching. Until then, catch you later.